Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 22nd of October, comes to you from London. And quite a lot of red on the screen in equity markets, certainly. Energy is looking a little bit better this morning. Power still falling, but let's have a quick look first at the macro situation. So the dollar has been sinking lower this week. This is the short-term chart, the 60-minute chart, my daily and my longer-term view weekly chart. So it does look like we've bottomed on the dollar, but we are coming back to test these levels. So we are just saying we are still bearish long term and medium term below the cloud, and of course the short term has taken us there, and we have got these downside targets hanging over us. Looking at the euro dollar, we're sitting at 118.38. That weaker dollar this week has meant that the euro is climbing, and sterling is actually looking stronger against that weaker dollar, sitting at it got to 131.50 yesterday, and we've just coming off a little bit, but we're sitting at 131 this morning. So sterling looking stronger. Looking at sterling against the euro, we're sitting at 110.60. So again, we nearly got to 111. So we are just seeing sterling recovering there somewhat. So that's looking good as well. Bitcoin sitting at $12,900. That's really powered ahead this week, and we're seeing it now making multi-month highs. We haven't really seen these levels since the middle of last year, and if we can close out the week here, that would be the highest closing high for a few years. So Bitcoin is starting to run. Looking at the S&P 500 index, we're seeing here that we are just pushing lower yesterday, on the verge of breaking below the cloud on the 60-minute chart. We just really haven't struggled to break to a new high here, and we had that bearish engulfing candle at the point of the high, and then we're seeing now a doji last week potentially, and a down week this week. So we are just seeing markets coming off, and the Nasdaq did close into bearish territory last night, so that's not looking as good either. Looking at the Dow, we're down 0.33%, and the futures are showing us opening down 0.33% as well, both on the S&P future and the Nasdaq future. So it does look like we're going to have a down week this week. VIX volatility has been nudging with this 30 level. 30 seems to be the level that's really quite key on the VIX. The fear index above 30 is not good for stocks, and we are just seeing it climbing again this week. So more uncertainty as to where stock markets are heading. Looking at the FTSE future, we're down at 0.3% this morning. The DAX cash in Germany is down nearly 0.75%, and the CAC Quarante down nearly 0.2%. So we are just seeing European markets in the doldrums, bearish on all three timeframes there. Japan was down 1%, so Asia really hasn't done that well. We did see the Hang Seng up slightly, but the Shanghai Composite in China falling away. We have got this sort of flag pattern building here, but we are just really struggling to break to new highs, so there's uncertainty weighing there as well. The Sensex in India was down 0.7%, and the Aussie market was down 0.3%, so we are just seeing a fall there. Looking at gold, we're sitting at 1917. We are holding on to the short-term bullish trend. The long-term chart's still looking pretty good. We've got good upside targets here on gold to play for, 1991, 1950 and 1944, so we are seeing gold looking stronger there. Silver is down 1% this morning, but holding on to its bull trends as well. US 10-year yields have been making multi-month highs, 4-month highs, and we are seeing here that push higher back to the levels that we haven't seen since June. So the outlook for inflation is starting to just show up in the yield rates there. Looking at the energy mix, we've got Brent up 0.2%, but that's little respite given we fell so heavily yesterday. Coming back to test that 41.50 level, that's looking like a short-term support level, and we need to hold that. And if we look at WTI, we also have a similar picture where we fell away sharply yesterday. The fact that we're failing to make new highs on crude is a worry. US nat gas hit $3 for the first time in 21 months yesterday. The beginning, we haven't seen that level since 2019, the start of. So it's really looking very strong indeed. We've got an upside target here on the charts on the daily and on the 60-minute to 330, 334, and we've got a short-term upside target to 311. So storage numbers out today. It will be interesting to see how the gas price reacts, but it's pricing in a surprise that should improve the gas price. That's what we're seeing. It's preempting that, if you like. RBOB gasoline actually falling lower, fell away with crude oil yesterday. It's already moving into more clear bearish territory than the crude oil price. So we are just seeing gasoline prices going lower, and we've got quite big downside targets there, 7% lower. Coal actually up this morning, but only just. And if we look at emissions, we have recovered a little bit this morning. We're back to the sort of 2369 at the moment, but that's really just showed how we've just struggled to see any real buying conviction. It's been a one-way bet for emissions the last couple of weeks, and we've been quite bearish since we came through the cloud. But once you come into that bearish trend, you start to go into free fall. Downside target 2340 now met. Of course, that confirming the bearishness. Next target is around 20 euros. Looking at gas, we've been bullish gas this week. We see UK gas up strongly, sitting at 42.40 this morning, and TTF also up strongly on the front month, making new highs. So gas prices really motoring. If you look at gas from May to now, we've gone from sort of 340 to 15, so it's really been a massive rise there. Winter gas, the seasonal gas price also just not making new highs, but looking bullish this morning, up 1%. And if we look at Gazprom, that trend has been up as well. German power is lower. It's 38.45 this morning. Again, in free fall, similar to emissions. This break of the trend is really quite key here. And the fact that we've broken through that, through the cloud, we are seeing power prices now trying to find support. 38.10 looks to be a support level there. And that's really been set yesterday. So we need to just keep an eye on that. We've got downside targets of 37.15, 37.50, and if we look at the quarterly contract, we see that's falling away as well. French power is up slightly this morning, so we are just seeing a slight improvement there. Dutch power also just up slightly, but really the trend is down. Nordic power's taken a real hit this week, but actually just recovering 3% up this morning on the CAL, and on the quarterly contract up 4%. So it looks like it's been oversold, but the trend is still down. Czech power falling away as well, as you would expect. And last of all, UK power holding on. So it's actually looking much better than the continental power markets with good upside targets. So UK power, the best of a bad bunch. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.